on the beat.
Good day everyone. We are now the last group and we will discuss our assigned topic, which is administrative strategies to support multi-grade schools. And there are two parts in this topic. These are making use of alternative resources and scheduling schemes. It is obvious that a combined class of students differs a lot from the conventional type of a student class of a single grade. That means that the way the students of the multi-grade class should be taught must be different as well. It is true that the function of the teacher in the multi-grade classroom is multidimensional, or to be more accurate, it is much more complicated and demanding than the role of the teacher in the monograde school respectively. Welcome to our virtual presentation, classmates, especially to you, Ma'am Cindy. I'm going to present to you the other member of our group, Julie May Utanes, Erica Tomines, Wilma May Sales, and Jezabel Sanidad. This is the main subject of the MUSE project, or the Multi-Grade School Education Project, to assist teacher professionals to be able to work effectively in the multi-grade school environment and be trained on teaching in the different ways referring to the multi-grade classroom. For children to learn effectively in the multi-grade environments, teachers need to be well-trained, well-resourced, and hold positive attitudes to multi-grade teaching. Multi-grade teaching in many views represents a more demanding teaching situation and special attention should be given to it. However, many teachers in multi-grade environments are either untrained or trained in monograde pedagogy, have few teaching and learning resources. In addition, at the majority of the cases, the multi-grade teachers are very young without significant experience. These teachers are left alone without resources and support to handle the demanding multi-grade classes. The former has serious negative impact on teachers' psychology and attitude towards the multi-grade class, and affects in a negative way their teaching performance. The effort should be focused by the educational authorities to reverse the teachers' negative view for multi-grade teaching in rural school and provide them with the resources and support to be able to overcome any difficulties. Teachers should attend special training programs before introduce themselves at the multi-grade classroom and try to adjust to their multi-dimensional role as a multi-grade teacher. A training program like the MUSE project or Multi-Grade School Education Project, which represents an effort to address the specialized needs of the multi-grade school teachers, ought first of all to record and analyze the multiple role that these teachers possess in the multi-grade class. With that being said, how do we manage to put together an effective multi-grade lesson plan? Where do we find the resources? How do we go about it? Well, aside from looking for answers on the internet, we can actually find time to delve more and find people who have actually experienced handling and managing a multi-grade classroom. It is better to get the facts straight firsthand. If no one is available to mentor you, we'll just have to rely on other countries' curriculum and guidelines to try to fit in the Philippine multi-grade education setting. To help lessen your problems in how to make an effective multi-grade lesson plan for each grade level for which the teacher is responsible, he or she must determine to answer the following questions. Whom do I teach? What must I teach? How do I teach? When do I teach? And why do I teach this? This does not only analyze and assess each learner's prior knowledge. It is also let us know how we should teach them in a way that they can understand. Once these questions have been answered, only then we can devise a lesson plan that would suit the needs of our learners. Integrated approaches assume that multiple resources will be used by students during the course of the lesson. Textbooks will be one of these resources, but this will be supplemented by a variety of additional print, audiovisual, and community and human resources. Field trips, community speakers, videos, library books, newspapers, and magazines may be used as resources if available in rural or remote areas. Learning how to use a variety of resources to find information is one of the intended learning outcomes of integrated learning. Lesson planning for multi-grade teaching depends on the number of grades combined in the classroom. But whatever the number of lesson plans needed per day, there are 3 stages of planning to consider: planning activities before the lesson, during the lesson, and after the lesson. And before the lesson, we need to set the objectives of the lesson and know the materials needed. Decide on the methods of presentation and prepare all the needed materials beforehand. And during the lesson, present the lesson and continue to monitor each student's progress. And after the lesson, we need to evaluate the lesson plan. Note the things that needed revision and think about what went well and what did not, so that it can help you prepare for a better lesson plan next time.
This slide contains the specific parts of the lesson plan. This is according to DepEd Order number 42 series of 2016. The first part of lesson plan is objective, the second part is content, number 3 is learning resources, number 4 is procedures, number 5 is remarks, and number 6 is reflection. I will not explain the parts of the lesson plan one by one because I know that we are all familiar with the parts of the lesson plan. It's because we all have experience in making a lesson plan. Why lesson plan is important? Lesson planning is important for effective teaching and learning in school. Lesson plans help teachers in properly arranging and managing their class and lessons, as well as to achieve the learning objectives. The next slide is about some practical tips for teaching multi-grade classes according to UNESCO. Strategy 1. Teach all groups together. In this kind of instruction, you provide the same content, use the same teaching and learning methodology in transmitting the content, and expect the same learning outcomes from all students, irrespective of their formally assigned grade. But because of multi-grade classroom, you can have older students work with younger ones, and both will have a better learning. Through this, it will build a sense of classroom solidarity. Next is strategy 2. Teach one grade while others work independently. It may be beneficial to set time during the day for each grade level. After a brief period of teacher-led instruction, one group can be left with a peer tutor, or students can practice independently in their workbooks while you work with another grade level to promote learning continuity. Strategy number 3. Teach one subject to all grades and at varying levels of difficulty. This strategy allows you to group children of different grades, ages, and abilities and teach them the same curriculum theme at the same time. You can ask a harder question to the older students and an easier question to the younger students. In this way, all students can participate at their level and make some contribution to the lesson. Strategy number 4. Develop activities for non-taught groups. Some students don't know how to investigate and gather information by themselves. One example of activities for non-taught groups is creative activities. Ask students to draw in accordance to the theme they want. Through this, the students will learn to use their imagination and generate new ideas. Strategy number 5. Develop peer, cross-age, and cross-grade teaching strategies. Cross-age tutoring is based on the pairing of students and is used extensively in most multi-grade classrooms so that older children can help younger students with their lessons. The peer tutor begins by asking general questions to assess the younger students' understanding. Peer tutoring is an effective strategy in multi-grade situations as it trains students to use a series of questions that helps to scaffold their learning to higher levels. Strategy number 6. Relate learning with daily experience. Teaching a concept by relating it to your students' daily life, traditions, and culture is more effective than any other method of instruction because it will let the learners to impart their ideas and develop their self-esteem. Things to consider when preparing a lesson. Characteristics of the learner's basic principles of multigrade teaching effective in instructional strategies. First, identify groups of competencies. Some example of competencies is adaptability, perseverance, and ability to learn. Next is assessment and evaluation strategies. The important purpose of assessment and evaluation is to improve student learning. Moreover, it is an important tool for designing curriculum and instructional approaches as per the needs of students. Next is making connection across subject areas. It will allow the students to broaden their lens of understanding and apply skills and strategies they learn in lessons to deepen their overall understanding. Next is cultural context. Through this, students will gain a more comprehensive understanding of the subject matter. Last is class management strategies. It is important because it creates a productive environment in teaching and learning.
For the next topic is scheduling schemes. Before you actually write the lesson plan based on the pre-assessment result, you have to determine first what teaching scheme or way of teaching you are going to use. The objectives or skill you are going to develop in all the groups will tell what scheme is the most appropriate. The teaching scheme will likewise suggest the format of the lesson plan. The different teaching schemes are the following. First is the preparing lesson plans for interaction or instruction. In preparing lesson plans for interaction or instructions, there must be an instructional manager, and one of its function is to plan instructions. There is also a source of instructional objectives, and these are the MELC, Most Essential Learning Competencies, PELC, Philippine Elementary Learning Competencies, CGMGs, and the budget of work in the different learning areas. Second is the scheming. It is the teacher's emerging scheme of use related to the same set of resources used for the same aim. An overview or a long-term plan for what you aim to teach in particular subject across a term of or an academic year. It is a roadmap for where you want to go and the steps you will need to take in order to get there. In short, scheming is a systematic plan of future action, and it is a strategy to complete a goal or purpose.
Okay, let's proceed to schedule. What is a schedule? Schedule is an overall plan of events that is prepared by the teacher. It identifies the following. The first one, how the lesson will be presented. Second one, which group the teacher will be teaching. Third one, what the other groups will be doing. Schedule or timetable also gives students a sense of what to expect inside of the class on a certain day. In conclusion, the schedule must be in line with the school's mission and goals. If the goal is to have truly active learning where the students can communicate, create, and engage on multidisciplinary projects, the daily schedule should include various of components, regardless of what plan is put in place. In this type of schedule, there is a designated subject in every period of different grade levels. This means that all grade levels have to be on task according to the indicated period. The program requires that your preparation be ready and in order. It also shows how the periods within the school days will be spent.
Relationship between curriculum, syllabus, scheme of work, scheduling, unit plan, lesson plan. First is curriculum, content of a given subject to be taught over several years. The curriculum should cover a range of learning activities. The teacher should not only teach about knowledge, but also about norms, values, attitudes, various skills development. In this way, the learner is developed intellectually, emotionally, socially, and physically. When a curriculum is designed, there should be a deliberate effort to ensure that this aspect of learners' development are considered. The second one is syllabus, content to be taught in a given year for one subject in one grade. It contains the list of topics, aims, and assessment objectives of the subject at a particular level of education, the sequence of the content knowledge to be taught, and the assessment procedure to be adopted. Next is scheme of work. Total content of all subjects taught in a term. It describes the content and learning experience that should be treated every term of the academic year. It is made when the teacher splits the year work from the syllabus into portions to be studied per term, month, or week. The third one is unit plan. Total content of a number of subjects organized over 2 to 6 week period. In this, a detailed lesson plan is on how particular topic will be conducted, including pupil activities and to meet the objectives, and the principles to keep in mind. In objectives is why to teach, in content is what to teach, while in method is how to teach, and in evaluation is did they learn and how much they learned. And the next one is schedule. Total content of a number of A subjects for different grades spread over a day. Schedule is an overall plan of events that is prepared by the teacher. It identifies the following: how the lesson plan will be presented, which group the teacher will be teaching, and what other groups will be doing. The purpose of a schedule is to help the teacher to manage the class and available time better. It is also helps the multi-grade teacher na bumuo ng mga aralin na may iba't ibang strategy sa pagtuturo. The next one is a lesson plan. Total activities of a given subject for a particular grade to be taught in one period. The lesson plan is the lowest, most specific level of instructional plan. It is derived from the analysis of the schemes of work. When a scheme of work is broken into smaller topics and subtopics, we have the lesson topics which can be used to plan a lesson. This lesson plan also helps teachers follow correct steps and procedures in teaching. Meaningful objectives are covered in the lesson activities to the content and objective carried out. In a multi-grade teaching, it is very important to plan a lesson and kung ano yung magiging strategy mo sa pagtuturo, because once you started teaching in a multi-grade classroom, how effective your teaching is will largely depend on how well you are prepared to handle multiple activities.